Hey, I'm in East Henderson today. Got a 4-bedroom house behind me. Let's flip the camera around and take a look. All right, let's go. Let's get in here. So everyone knows the story. One take, we're gonna walk through as if it's like a Zoom call or a FaceTime call with a client, except I can't hear what you have to say. So use the comments if you got something to say. I'm just gonna monologue on, if we don't mind. Here we go. So what are we looking at? We got a 4-bedroom house right in front of the master plan of Cadence. It's in, what's the name of this community? McCallie is the name of the community. And it's a gated spot here with a community pool and everything. So you're getting some amenities and location. You know, anytime you're located right next to a 10,000 plus home master plan, you know you're gonna get a lot of amenities around where you live, or I should say a lot of retail that are convenient around where you live. So let's get in here. Right off the bat, I feel we've got this like elevated feel on the wide plank luxury vinyl. It's a light gray brown with, you can see it kind of has different colors to it, some texture. So we walk into the dining room, and then we see the living room. All right, back with you. I don't know what happened here. So from the living room, we see we have a straight sight line into the kitchen. So fairly new, 2022 on the build. And this community has both houses and some townhomes all within. Fun little nook here. They've gone ahead and installed a doggy door there. Of course, if you don't need that doggy door, throw some cabinetry, wine fridge, table. You got some options. So it's a lighter gray on the, looks like quartz countertop. And then this almost like a blue hue on the tones there. The tile backsplash, which goes all the way up to the top of the cabinet and carries through the entire kitchen area. Stainless steel, brushed nickel, whatever you want to say that is there on the hardware. Then the stainless steel appliances to match. You have your microwave, oven range. So it looks like it's GE. You got that nice middle guy. It's a model. Look at the range there. Like new. Plenty of plugs up here. And if we step back, sorry if I spun you too fast there, and you have the fridge GE again. So you got the side-by-side on top with the bottom freezer. Come on out and get the double drawer. Pretty good amount of counter space extending all the way across, and then you have the oversized island to my right here. And then same thing with the cabinets. They're not the solid wood on that on this plank here. It's that press board, modern kind. And look at that, RO water. Presume, yeah, that's fancy. I don't know if I've seen a digital display on that. You got the deep sink. So everyone knows, you know, if you see my videos, I talk about the RO, reverse osmosis. I'm a big fan, you know, here with how hard our water is, meaning how many minerals are put in and chemicals are used to clean it because we do reclimate all our water. So speaking of water, that always seems to be a question or a talking point outside of here. So I will share with viewers here. As far as water is concerned, fun fact that I read at the Springs Preserve, which is it's a fun place you can go to visit here, north central, just north of the Strip, is that we actually use less water today than we did. Gosh, I want to say 20, 25 years ago. I don't want to quote the wrong number because I read this a while back, but the steps we've taken, we're going to step outside. Speaking of steps, and I'll come back in and check the rest of the downstairs out, are really in mind because we do live in a desert and water is a scarcity. So, if we don't use our allotment from the Colorado River, right, comes through Lake Mead, we actually bank it in aquifers. Now we're limited in the aquifers here in Las Vegas and Nevada. So as a state, we've actually negotiated and exchanged to aquifers in surrounding states. So my understanding is if Arizona is one that pulls, they may have some deeper aquifers. So we'll bank with them, meaning they'll pull our allotment. We'll bank it, say, yeah, we saved X, acre feet or however they measure the bulk water. And then should we need it back, we'll get that X amount basically from their Colorado River allotment, rather than pull that amount from the river. So that's one way that we've banked it. And again, I've read this and have heard speakers on it. Is it something of interest? But by all means, it's been a while, so I may have my facts conflated or not accurate as far as years and things like that. But so my understanding, speaking of years, is we have negotiations in place with estimates. The actuaries and numbers guys say we're good until. So my understanding is decades down the line before we're wondering what the next step of the plan is. So it's a nice backyard, by the way. You have both the green space and I don't know if I zoomed in, but there is a wired gas, or I should say connected gas fireplace out there. So you have the covered patio, which faces kind of east-ish, maybe east-north. So you should be in the shade most of the day. And then outside of that patio, you have that little gas fireplace and then a green space off to the side. You have a community pool here, so just right around the corner. And it's a small community as far as compared to Cadence, dare I say. So that's a kitchen, but I don't have a number. If it's my guess is from driving around maybe about 500 units, but I could be wrong, and I probably am. So here's the downstairs bathroom. So this is both the bathroom for guests or anybody using the downstairs. And then this is also that same bathroom that the downstairs bedroom would utilize. So you have the low profile shower with the seat, and you have just a simple bedroom here. One window, one walk-in closet. Goes from there to there. Guess it's not as walking as I anticipated. All right. So you have nice soft carpet here, built in 22, so only several years old on the carpet. So that's the downstairs. Let's peek out in the garage while I'm here also. You have no place that has been wired for solar. I'm sorry, for EV. That's a common question. You are looped for your water filter and water softener, and this is a water heater that is strapped. I point that out, and any time you have an appraisal and there's a loan, not any time, but I've always ran into the lender requires the earthquake straps to fund the loan, or to qualify the house at a certain level of safety. So you do look for those. I think it's pretty easy install and for the long shot that there is an earthquake, I think that is a worthwhile investment, that perhaps your hot water heater doesn't shake, rattle, and roll off the platform and cause a house to go boom. I tend to think that I'd prefer that not to happen. So you have a small landing here. We wouldn't call it a loft, but you have a landing. You put a table here for some desk space, or utilize it for storage. I kind of see it go both ways. Or just make it pretty decorations, throw a piano up. What would you do there? Okay, bedroom, I guess this is number 2. And we'll finish with the primary on this one. So the 2 upstairs bedrooms are connected with a Jack and Jill. This closet does have some space to the right, and it goes all the way to the end on that one. This corner here. Thanks to Ryan Crichton with the Rothwell Gordon Companies for letting me walk through the house and feature this for you today. So this bedroom, you can't tell, but the strip is like pretty much straight across from where this house is. So you're definitely close, and you're on the interior side of Cadence. So we know there's a strong demand, one of the top-rated master plan communities, and there is plenty of people that value living near the strip, and this community, for perspective, is just a step closer. So great location, always the big box stores I talk about, right? You have your Targets and your Walmarts and supermarkets, and just up the out of this community, you have Water Street, which is just a energized part of Old Henderson that's got a real fun atmosphere. If you're looking for something to do, that involves closing down the street and going to a parade, it's gonna be over there in Old Henderson, right? Right down Water Street, St. Patrick's Day parade. If you're looking for a good farmer's market, or a spot that is going to have a couple art events, again, Water Street. Restaurants. There's a ice rink over there. So a lot to do on Water Street. It's a fun little spot that's just had a lot of money sunk into it over the last 10 years to bring it back up to fun and current. Versus, and then right down on the other side, you have Boulder City Highway. And then there's a ton of stuff there, and then right down Sunset, it's another street from there. So here you have 2 closets. So you have a closet here in the primary. Here's our primary. Looks like we're camping out before we moved out here. Big primary. I mean, look, you literally could fit two beds. I don't know, maybe they're gearing up to make this an Airbnb. I don't know if the community would allow it, right? Speaking of, if you are ever thinking I want to invest here and I want to make this house an Airbnb, the city has rules, the county has rules, and then bear in mind your community itself may have rules about short-term tenancy, where they will or will not allow it. So before you do go off and just invest a chunk of money into a house thinking you're going to Airbnb it, do make sure that not only can you do it with the county and the city and you have the right medallion, but the community itself is going to be okay with it. Because you go through all that hassle and then and you go live and you have your first person stay here, and then the community calls you out for a violation of community standards. It's just could be a challenge. Looks like it's all new here, right? Just a couple years old. There you have it. I do see a lock here, so they probably put all their things that they haven't moved out safely behind that. We're going to leave that be. So, oh gosh, again, I didn't give you the price. So what we're looking at here, it's a 4-bedroom house, 3 bathrooms, 1 bedroom downstairs. List price is $560,000. Square footage is 2277, so 2,277 square feet. Lot size, you're looking at a 3,400 square foot lot. You can see a majority of it is right there on the house, the driveway, and a tiny little backyard. Community-wise, you've got that pool. It's gated. I drove past it. Got some chairs and things around it as well. So I'm glad you could join me on the tour today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next.